Welcome in, America. We're watching the end of this UCLA-Michigan game. It has been a sloppy, choppy game. Bo Borowski is refereeing. That's all that really needs to be said.
Yeah, Bo Borowski has decided that this is his Elite Eight. This is his moment to take center stage. But regardless, we do have two of the biggest brands in college basketball.
And we have a one-point game with under 4 to play.
Yep.
So that's also all that needs to be said right here. So Hunter Dickinson posting up. Let's see if he has a right hand. No, he does not.
No.
Kicks it out.
Brandon Johns Jr., by the way, has had a great game for Michigan, a guy who replaced Isaiah Livers in the starting lineup. Obviously, you and I, before the tournament, we thought, what does this team look like without Livers? Brandon Johns, he's handling it pretty well.
Brandon Johns is playing really well. I would say one of the big differences to me, Michigan has a better team. UCLA has the better playmaker in Johnny Juzang. Michigan doesn't really have that tonight. That's becoming a problem for
Shawnee Brown has been there at times, been able to hit a couple big buckets, but not quite the, like you said, the playmaker.
Yeah.
Best player on the floor is Johnny Juzang, and he is not on Michigan. So that is where we kind of are. He was able to keep UCLA in the game in the first half. Michigan probably should have blown this thing out in the first half. UCLA seemed to be stuck on 4 points for quite some time. But Johnny really,
Wagner misses layup. Wagner's got to
he's had a tough game.
Who are the candidates on Michigan to take over to be like, this is my time now? It's
Johns Jr. is my pick in this game. Unfortunately, I think that's the pick.
Mike Smith can kind of
maybe Mike Smith.
Wagner's the guy. I mean, he's got to be the guy if
Wagner does not look like the Wagner we've seen all year right now. And
honestly, the answer is Eli Brooks. Eli Brooks would be the guy that he's had a few drives to the basket that
we were talking. Austin Davis has been better sometimes, in spot post duty for this team as opposed to.
Oh my God!
Oh wow! Shot clock violation. Michigan up
Jaime
1 point,
Jaquez,
48-47 right now.
Jaime Jaquez just tried to Larry Bird it over the backboard.
It did not go the same as Larry Bird.
Charles is going to make me trip up Jaquez's name.
Yeah, what did he call him?
He called him
Jamie Jaquez, a.k.a. Jamie Jacks.
And tell you that, ever since Charles said that before the game, we've been calling him Jazzkez all night. And then it's messing up
now it's in your head.
It's
kind of like we were joking about Paige Beckers. People were calling him Bukers, and then we started doing it. And then I started calling her Paige. Yeah, Paige Buckers. Yeah,
it sounds like buckets. So this game has been a little sloppy. I don't have whoever wins it. I'm gonna be honest. Not a lot of confidence going into the game against Gonzaga.
Yeah,
they're not showing me.
I think Gonzaga said to the world tonight that it's going to take a lot of things going right for you to even have a chance to be in the game. And then from there, Gonzaga still has the better team, the more depth, and all the above to win the championship. So someone just asked, are you pulling more against Michigan or for UCLA? I thought that was a good question. I wanted to ask you that. Leo Connolly, good question,
How do you know
Leo.
I'm not cheering for Michigan? What about Big Ten pride?
You're right. You're right. That is a good question. I think you're tired of Bo Borowski like the rest of us. So you're saying you're out on the Big Ten agenda as well.
I'm not cheering for Michigan, but how do you know I'm not?
You're just not cheering. You're not cheering against Michigan.
I don't know. I'm cheering for good basketball. If Michigan
both
wins,
teams played hard.
I want them to play. I'm cheering. If Michigan wins fairly, then good for them. If they win on some BS like they typically do, then no. I don't really care. I mean, I live in LA now. I'm a Pavilion Club guy, so all my UCLA. I'm definitely cheering for UCLA. I'm not cheering against I'm cheering for UCLA. To answer the question, I'm cheering for UCLA. I'm not cheering against Michigan.
I am also Pac-12 guy. We've been to too many UCLA games in the Poly Club not to pull for the Bruins. But look, Michigan, I respect the team. I respect the program.
It's a better story. UCLA is a better story. I mean, I know Michigan's going to be like, but what about Juwan and
Juwan will be back.
He'll be back.
Juwan will be back. I'm not sure
about recruiting class next year.
Mick is, you know what I mean? Everything is falling in the right, the right puzzle pieces have come together. Dana asked this, Titus. I don't even know what this means. If Michigan loses, Titus is getting smashed in Guitar Hero. Do you know this person?
I don't know what that means.
Oh, I thought this might be like an inside joke.
It's one of those deals like I know it's funny, I just don't get it.
Yes. That's just life.
I want these two teams to play next year. Not necessarily in the NCAA tournament, although that'd be cool. But I think both of them are going to have really good teams next year, and they got to put this on the schedule somehow. Have Mick and Juwan call each other, and
you and I live in LA, and 1 out of every 4 people you meet in Los Angeles went to Michigan. So there is a lot of Michigan, LA kind of brewing in the air. There's a lot of people talking trash, probably watching this game together in Los Angeles. So there's an extra layer when you talk about the coverage that goes into this game.
The Michigan people that live in LA. This might be the first game they've watched all year.
Of course. I mean, yes.
This game
what do you mean? Yeah. That was like when Northwestern made the tournament and all these Northwestern people came out. We're like, Look, welcome.
We should have done that, by the way. If we were smarter, if there wasn't COVID, we could have gone around like Hollywood and asked people of LA how excited they are for UCLA.
Yeah. Who's your favorite player on the team? And we're like, do you like Baron Davis or Earl Watson? They're like, oh, I love Baron. That's my guy.
I'm an OJ Mayo guy.
Yeah.
I'm more of a USC guy.
Love Taj Gibson.
All right, we're back. It's 2:20 left. Mike Smith bringing the ball up the floor. UCLA's got a 1-point lead here, so we'll watch what happens here.
It does seem like Michigan, there was a concerted effort at one point in this game to say, look, we need someone to be our go-to guy on the offensive end, and Hunter Dickinson was the choice. And that left hand has been pretty reliable, but not this time.
I don't want to be a Hunter Dickinson hater, but at the same time, he makes it so hard with, like, he can't go right to save his life. It's so painful.
It does seem like a scouting
You don't have
report.
to shoot at Hunter. Kick it out.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to your left hand every single time. You could use your right hand. Or
I will say the first time that Hunter Dickinson really got me going was against Luka Garza, and he kind of dominated him in that game. And then Kofi Coburn comes back around. Kofi dominates Hunter Dickinson. Then there was the weird who's the best big in the Big Ten conversation that goes on. But in this game in particular, I think Austin Davis has been better, coming off the bench for Michigan as far as being a steady presence.
Well, because
Jalen Rose in the crowd, by the way. Shout out Jalen.
Austin Davis isn't going over one shoulder every time he has it. Austin Davis also isn't like demanding post touches.
I think that's
Austin Davis is like, if I have good position, I'll shoot it. If I don't, I won't. And that's kind of what Michigan needs right now. But they also need a playmaker, Tate. They need somebody. Mike Smith.
Shawnee Brown is the guy.
Shawnee Brown, like that qualifies as a play. He blew the layup.
2 missed layups back to back from Michigan. 2 great looks. UCLA holds on 48-47, 125 to go.
Yep.
I'm going to say this, Titus. Tiger Campbell has impressed me in this game. And Tiger, a 5-star kid, came out of Iowa. There was a lot of expectations on him. Had an injury his first year at UCLA. Has had some moments at UCLA, but has not been able to find his shot in any consistent way.
Juzang.
And Johnny Juzang.
Why is Eli Brooks guarding Johnny Juzang?
If Hep Cronin was shown this whole game, UCLA is up 20. I'll just say that. But regardless, 50-47, 55 seconds left. UCLA is up. Michigan has the ball. Man, I mean, this has been a low-scoring game, but a fun game somehow. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I do know. That's a foul on Jaquez, and I mean, Wagner still gets a foul. These refs are dreadful. I mean, Jaquez just closed out. Wagner's going right by him, and he just grabbed his arm. And that was his closeout. They didn't call a foul until he got to the rim. Oh my goodness. See, this is the difference. Is Juzang can. Nobody. Michigan has nobody that can do that. They have guys that can do it every so often, but there's nobody you can rely on that you can throw the ball to and be like, dude, our offense sucks tonight. We need help. And Eli Brooks is like, I got it. Sometimes Eli Brooks is that guy. Sometimes Wagner's that guy. But right now in this game, they don't have that. And that's a problem.
We should point out precedent because I'm a big fan of precedent in the NCAA tournament. 1993 second round, UCLA plays Michigan. Michigan survives that game in overtime. And Juwan Howard says that's the game that sticks out with him. Not, in 1993 when they lose and Chris Webber, travels and then takes the timeout when they have no timeouts.
What happened?
He was talking about the UCLA game in the second round.
What did Chris Webber do?
Yeah, he traveled, and then they didn't call it, and then he drove down the corner and then called a timeout. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
In the national championship?
Yeah. Crazy.
Wow.
But Franz Wagner at the line, 50-48 right now. Good to see the Wagner family in the building. Mo Wagner, shout out to Mo Wagner, foe of the program, but also with the Boston Celtics.
Is Duncan playing tonight? Should we call him if Michigan?
I think he was playing in MSG. I saw him put up a picture of him in MSG.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I saw
the
like black
artsy,
and white.
Yeah, a little artsy picture. I was like, all right, Duncan, we
get it, Duncan. I'm Duncan. I play in the NBA. It's like, nobody cares, dude.
50-49, 41 seconds. What a game. If you're joining us live, Titus and Tate, YouTube, subscribe. Timeout, Mick Cronin. Let's hope Hep Cronin has a play drawn up right here.
I do this all the time when Ohio State's in games like these. It's just a mechanism I use in my brain where I say I would rather be us than them. Or sometimes I'm like, damn it, I'd rather be them than us. So I pose this question to you. UCLA up 1 with the ball. It's a very sloppy game. They're not going to get the last shot according to how the way the time is shaken out here. Who would you rather be at? Which school would you rather be a fan of right this second?
UCLA, right? You have nothing to lose.
I think so too.
And I think at the end of the day, if it doesn't go your way, you learn the lesson. You say, hey, we overachieved. We were happy to be here at some level. We'd love to see Coach Cronin get us to this position. And we lost to a 1 seed with, quote unquote, the coach of the year, Juwan Howard. So.
Yeah,
Can't be mad
but
about
at the
that.
same time, like Michigan, you're like, well, we'll be back, and we're probably.
No, I think Michigan fans, based on their irrationality, they are completely
also
locked
Michigan,
into a national
Michigan
title.
can rub it into the rest of the Big Ten's face.
Yeah,
if they're the one team that made. Yeah,
Michigan fans have told me all year that they are by far the best team in the Big Ten, and if you don't think that, you're an absolute buffoon.
They won the Big Ten tournament, right?
Yes,
Michigan did. They
did. Yeah.
No, they did. The Illinois one. Who did Michigan lose to in the Big Ten tournament?
I don't remember.
Huh.
They definitely never lost to Ohio State. That's for sure. I do know that.
No, honestly, that's been very frustrating to watch. To know that the last team that beat it was Ohio State, that we lose to Oral Roberts.
This is a great point by Special K Clark Kellogg. He says, going to be an exhilarating dub for one and excruciating loss for the other. I think that's the best analyst.
Tiger,
oh, my God.
Oh, all right.
Dude, Jamie Jacks would have made that. That's I will say. If Charles Barkley's like, well, come on.
Jaquez
would have made that.
Jamie Jaquez would have made it.
50-49, 19 seconds. Michigan with the basketball. I think if you're UCLA, they are a mucking team. And if you don't know what mucking means, that means that we leave a possession, we all go, ew, that was nasty, but good defensive possession. And that is what the Bruins can potentially do here. And who does Michigan give? Who is taking the last shot?
Here's what they're going to do. What they shouldn't do is give it to Hunter Dickinson. What they're going to do is give it to Hunter Dickinson.
Yes.
And I'm not saying he's not going to make the shot or whatever, but if I'm UCLA, I just foul him. He sucks at free throws. He's going to go to his right shoulder. He's going to do a left baby hook. Just like swipe in real hard. Like if I'm Tiger Campbell, I double. I swipe in. Maybe you hack him on the wrist, but who cares?
You just did the perfect, like what Dean Smith did in 1982. And, he looked at a young man on the bench, Michael Jordan, and he said, Mike, we're going to swing it to you. And if you have the shot, take the shot. And Mike Jordan looked at him and said, wow, my coach has confidence in me. I think this is a Johns Jr. moment. You say, Johns Jr., if you have the shot, take the shot.
This is Mike.
Shawnee Brown, if you have the shot, take the shot.
Yep. Well, I'm calling it right here. Mike Smith, they're going to look to Dickinson. They're going to double him. He kicks it out. Then Mike Smith drives to the basket, kicks it out to Shawnee Brown. With
three from the corner.
3 from the corner with like 4 seconds left.
52-50.
And then he goes 3 to the dome.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Jaime Jaquez and Johnny Juzang say, we need a 3.
Somehow Mo Wagner's not even at the game, like steps in front of Shawnee Brown and flexes. And you're like, Mo, where did you come from?
Yeah.
He's like, I saw a camera on, and it was Michigan basketball.
On the flip side of this, if you're UCLA and that does happen, it's 52-50, you inbound the ball. You have to give the ball to Johnny Juzang, right? I mean, this is a heat check moment. You say, you're our best player. This is our final chance. This is our final shot. Literally, you can have it. And we'll see what happens. He's not even on the floor, is he?
Offense, defense.
Wow, yeah.
Offense, defense.
So
they got a timeout.
They got a timeout. We'll be fine. Yeah, I thought that was their last timeout.
Good shot at future IU assistant Mike Lewis, by the way.
Juzang not on the floor here,
here we go.
For defense. Offense, defense substitutions.
Eli Brooks.
Oh, my God. Franz Wagner just pulled an
air ball. Brooks boards it. Oh,
wow.
Oh, my God.
Wow. Oh, my. Dude, Hunter Dickinson just hit him in the face. That's going to be a flagrant 1 or flagrant 2. That should be a technical. Dude. Borowski, make the call. There's Jalen Rose to cut to. I hate to see that for him. Love Jalen Rose. Great guy.
I mean, that's not a bad shot.
Are you just? I mean, that's not a bad shot, but it's a bad shot.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like
that's.
You tell Michigan fans Franz Wagner is going to to open at the top of the key.
Yes,
for the win.
Traditionally, not a bad shot, but
you're
again,
like, we'll take it.
A tournament game is its own entity. It's its own moment in time. You can't say, "Hey, Franz, you've been making this all year. Take it." No, that's not it.
Plenty of time left.
Oh,
obviously.
And the officials adding more time. That's good.
2 reminders you have to tell people in instances like this. Plenty of time left. They don't need a 3 here. Even though UCLA's up, but it's true, they don't need a 3 here. But what is Bo Borowski doing?
He calls the foul before the inbound? Did he call it? Who did he call it
Bo
on?
comes flying in. He's out of frame. Like, this guy is...
He's been making a lot of calls tonight that are just...
get this guy out of my face.
Definitely not in his territory. Hep Cronin feels like the rest of us. Very confused here. So we got another inbound.
With no time off the clock.
No time comes off the clock, but they get the foul because...
The biggest winner in this NCAA tournament is Ted Valentine, who didn't ref a second. Yes. Because he's giving Bo Borowski the stage, and he's saying like I've witnessed Big Ten basketball all season. Bo Borowski is the worst, and I'm gonna just let you have the stage, Bo. Man, you take it.
You're right.
And Bo's like, thanks,
people
Ted.
forget TV Teddy, 40 years in the game, coming back for year 41 next
year. Retired, unretired. He retired when Joel Berry, the fiasco. You know,
I mean, he turned his
unretired.
back. He turned his back to the best player in the country.
He was nominated for a Duffy comeback.
Yes.
Comeback figure of the year for his retirement.
Here we go. Johnny Juzang at the free throw line, 50-49, 6.3 on the clock. And it's good.
Buckets.
Look, man, this kid is getting drafted. I think he has a chance to be a lottery
Do you think he's going pro?
Yeah.
After this run, he's got to kind of.
Yes, I think
especially with Peyton Watson and Chris Smith. If Chris Smith comes back. But.
Johnny Juzang was going pro as soon as he transferred to UCLA, and
Dude,
he's like, "This is my 1 year, then I'm going." And I mean, there were shades of Devin Booker. You know,
Dude,
I looked at you and I said, "This looks like Devin Booker."
Yeah.
And
Which you got
shades.
Make that clear.
Calm down.
Shades.
Calm down, America. Shades. This man, Devin Booker,
Slivers.
scored 70 points in an NBA game. But
Slivers
when he
and
did
shades.
come in for Kentucky, he had this type of game or this type of impact, at least on me, where I was like, man, this guy's legit. He's a legit scorer.
His time at Kentucky, it felt like he was wearing a shot collar. And
Cal's like,
Cal
it down.
just buzz him.
He's like, I need you back for your sophomore year.
And then he comes to UCLA, and Mick is like, traditionally, Johnny, he sits him down. He's like, traditionally, Johnny, Sean Kilpatrick would play the role that you're playing, where I do not know how to coach offense, so I need you to just shoot. Yeah. Just do whatever you want.
My offense is waste 25 seconds so that they get tired, and then we hopefully get a good shot.
And then Johnny was like, all right, say no more, coach. I'm going to just light everyone up. And we remember the game at Stanford, which, as Mick Cronin reminded us, was definitely at Stanford in Santa Cruz, California.
Yeah. No, that was an away game.
When Johnny Juzang had, 28 points in a row? Something like that?
I think it was 28, yeah. When you said 23, I was like, that was 23. But then when you said 28, I was like, I think it was 28.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he is one of those scorers where he gets going and rolling. And in this game, Johns Jr. did a great job to start on him. Shawnee Brown as well.
He's going to hit this, we assume. Announcer jinx. Yep.
Wow, announcer jinx.
It's going to, Shawnee Brown's announcer jinx. We knew it was going to happen. As soon as I said, I kind of did it on purpose to make it more interesting. This is the Shawnee Brown. Who make your call? Shawnee Brown, Eli Brooks. It's got to be one of those two.
It's got to be.
They're
Shawnee
not going to
Brown.
Wagner.
It's got to be Shawnee.
They're
Brown.
not. I think they're shooting a 3 here too. By the way,
they're definitely shooting a 3. 51-49. Johnny Juzang misses the second.
Big
free
balls.
throw.
Jim Valvano decision. What is Hunter Dickinson from the line? Do you hack a Shaq?
Wow, that's actually a great point. If Hunter Dickinson's on the floor and he's less than 65%, I think you do.
I'm gonna look up his.
I think you do. I really do. I would not like the idea of Shawnee Brown. I mean, Shawnee Brown called the timeout running to the
he's
huddle.
76%.
Look, Shawnee Brown was running to Juwan Howard to call the timeout, which means he wants that shot.
Dickinson's 76% on the season, which is like 20% higher than I thought he was.
Yeah, same. I guess from tonight.
Yeah, tonight he's not playing.
Yeah, he's not playing.
He's
not playing great tonight. So don't do that. Do not hack a Hunter.
I like the idea of it though. If there's a guy that sucks out there, that's a big ball. That's like a.
You're right. You said it was Jimmy V. I mean, that Jim Valvano. That's what he did.
If they hit both of them, we have 4 seconds left. Maybe we hit a shot. There's 6 seconds left. Whatever.
Man, this is.
I think Michigan's going for the win.
You have to.
And I think it's going to be Shawnee Brown.
If you're Juwan Howard and the way that, I don't know, Juwan Howard's passed in the NCAA tournament, which is basically like there's some regrets there. Yeah. I mean, and think about this. If you had a guy like Swaggy Poole, man, you know who's taking the shot. Or Duncan.
Or
you know who's
Isaiah
taking the
Livers.
shot. Or Isaiah Livers
is taking the shot.
Yeah.
100%.
That's the problem right now because Johns Jr., I looked at you earlier. I was like, I think he's doing a pretty good job fulfilling the role of Livers, right? Maybe even doing more at times. But when push comes to shove, you need a guy to take a shot. Livers is
You're going to have to pass it. I assume they're going to get it into Mike Smith, and then
Eli Brooks seems to be who they think.
You don't want. I don't want Mike Smith to take this himself. I need Mike Smith to draw a defender, try to.
Yeah.
Mike Smith take full head of steam going in for a layup. They double in. You kick it out to Shawnee Brown.
Look,
That's what's going to happen.
I'm not afraid to go to the basket.
Here he goes. He pulled up. He did exact. Oh my God! He did what I said he shouldn't do.
Oh my, Mark Titus,
UCLA. I hate that. I hate that so much. I'm sure that's what they told him to do. Dude, I hate that so much. If Mike Smith does exactly what he does, keep going to the basket. Look who's in the corner. Shawnee Brown's in the corner, dude. You're down 2.
You're down 2. You gotta.
If you're down 3, obviously that's a great shot.
That is an analytics world that we live in. Remember the Nuggets that time that they had a 4-on-1 break and they all ran to the 3-point line. I'm mad now that Michigan lost.
By the way,
yeah.
I'm mad because
Man.
I'm mad because I could have been right. I'm mad because
what are they looking at here? Who the ball is off on, or how much time we have left? That's kind of the question I have. So
yeah, it looks like it's definitely.
I think it's
UCLA.
definitely Michigan ball, and I think it's probably.
It's got to be a tap in. So
it's probably like 0.8 of a second, 0.9 of a second, something like that. Wow. This is a great question we have, but I can't answer it right now. We'll have to wait. We'll stay on the game. We'll stay on the game right now.
Dude, your thoughts? Am I overreacting? Mike Smith, you just put your head down. Like I know Juwan probably told him to shoot it, and he was going for the win, and I like the confidence, and it wasn't a bad shot per se, but he put his head down, go in for the left-handed layup. You draw, and if no one collapses, tie the game. If they collapse, kick it out to Shawnee Brown. He's not missing that. Shawnee Brown is not missing that.
Have you ever heard the term "and one"? Right, and I think like a lot of people. I'm not even kidding. I'm like a lot of people. It feels like we don't remember that you can drive to the basket, get fouled, make a layup, and you get 3 points.
And you win that way.
And you still win the game. And I didn't like the idea of pulling up. I also didn't like the idea that Tiger Campbell was so sure that he wasn't going to pull up that he was like he basically gave him that shot. You know what I mean?
I don't like it because it's not that I don't like it because he missed, because I said that before the play even happened. I said what you can't do is let Mike Smith just dribble down and pull up from three, and that's exactly what he did.
You asked a great question. Like if let's say you're UCLA, what is the shot that you don't mind them taking? And that's a Mike Smith three. You know what I mean? Like if you're sitting on the bench, you're like, that's the shot we're okay with.
Well, a Mike Smith three, like that,
like where I literally drive and just pull.
If you threw it into Eli Brooks and he did that and then kicked it to Mike Smith, that's a good shot. You know, I don't like the idea of the guy who's dribbling at full court just stopping on a dime.
Yeah,
I hate that.
It's a tough shot. It's a tough shot, especially for a guy who that's not his calling card to be. It's one thing if Max Asmus gets it and says I'm going to go down and take this three, I'm okay with that. But it's not
over yet. We should say Michigan has time to tip this in. Down two. I guess they settled on half second.
0.5 of a second. Just enough time to get the tap in. The Trent Tucker rule.
They're gonna throw it to Shawnee Brown in the corner. He's gonna catch and shoot and hit it, and they're gonna review it. And
I do like that Juwan Howard kind of was unfazed in the miss. You know what I mean? It wasn't like he collapsed and was like, we've blown. You know what I mean? That's good to see from your coach. All right, here we go. 51-49, 0.5 of a second left. Michigan ball, baseline out of bounds. What do we have here? Dickinson inbounding the ball. Wow, that's not off in time, folks. And
that's it.
Wow.
UCLA to the Final Four, Tate. Mick Cronin is in the Final Four.
Hep Cronin is in the Final Four. Let me just say this, Mark Titus. You and I.
What a day for the West Coast.
What a day. The Pac-12 update of all updates. The UCLA Bruins. They have won 11 national championships, but no Final Four probably has felt as sweet
Can
as
we
this
get some blue blood scoreboard here?
Can we get Bill Walton, who told America? Big Wave Billy told America 5 Pac-12 teams would be in the Final Four.
Give me this damn thing. I haven't hit this once since we've done this show. What's a blue blood? Plus
Put it
one?
up. 20 points at least, right? It needs 20. I think it's 40 to 24. Maybe just even the score. Because here comes the blue bloods.
There we go. There we go. Blue bloods are back. UCLA to the Final Four. Oh,
dude,
my
look
gosh.
how happy Tiger Campbell is. Think about how many times, Titus, you and I have been at the CBS Sports Classic. We've been at the Maui Invitational. We've been at so many venues.
Wagner got that off, by the way. That would have been good. That would have been good if it went. Is there a rule in college? Like, there's a rule in the NBA, right?
Trent Tucker rule, yeah.
Yeah, does that exist in college?
It does not, but
because he definitely got that off.
I think it definitely gets off. But yeah, in general, if you're a UCLA fan, you did not expect this year, but you have seen over the past 5, 6, 7 years just some of the lows of lows. You've also had the Lonzo Ball year in 2016 when you thought you had this moment in time.
Look at Johnny. Dude.
And now you're here. Now you got Johnny Juzang, a guy who comes in, Tiger Campbell, who's been sticking with this program through thick and thin, through 2 different coaches. You lose Offord. Man, I am so shocked right now. I will say
dude,
this.
I really am too. I'm so happy
Mr. March.
I'm so happy for Mick Cronin,
Mick Cronin.
In all seriousness, like the guy took the job and got lambasted for being the 7th pick, and for and I could not get over it. As I said, it took just until recently for me to truly sink in that I felt like Mick Cronin belonged as UCLA's head coach. It just didn't seem like a good fit.
Yeah.
It's an unbelievable fit. They're going to be better next year. He's in the Final Four. He is the Pac-12 representative in the Final Four. I think they're going to lose by 1 million to Gonzaga. It doesn't matter. Who
Doesn't
cares?
matter.
When the Pavilion Club opens up in the fall, and God, I hope it does.
God, please.
Is that enough? Is UCLA going to the Final Four enough for like California to just drop the like if we roll around in November and like the COVID rules are like we still are at 20% of fans, they're just like Mick Cronin puts in the call to Newsom and he's like,
I mean, think about it. We got LA Lakers win the NBA championship, down in Orlando. Then we get the Dodgers finally get over the hump. We never thought it would happen. I mean, I've been in LA for 6 years. Never thought I'd see the Dodgers and Kershaw finally win the big one, and they do. And then Mick Cronin. We went to for the fans at home to give you a little background. 2018, Mark Titus and I think this was our first UCLA game together.
I think it was. Yeah, it was my first time at Pauley Pavilion.
At Pauley Pavilion, we go. Cincinnati's coming into town. This is in December 12th, something like that. They are a top 25 team playing Steve Alford and UCLA. UCLA has some players. We're there more to see UCLA. Mick Cronin's Cincinnati team just locks them up.
Mucks it up. It was a big time. It was old school Cincinnati basketball. Yeah.
To the max. So much so that a UCLA lady, UCL lady, she came up to us and was like, basically, get out of these seats. Like, she's mad at the world. And you and I are saying, man, UCLA, RIP, what is the basketball here? They need to figure out someone, maybe even someone like Mick Cronin. We laugh, we joke, we say that could never happen. And the fact that, 3 years later, Mick Cronin is the coach of UCLA in the Final Four. My goodness.
Final Four coach Mick Cronin.
Wow.
Of the UCLA Bruins men's basketball team.
Give him a clap.
Dude, the Pavilion Club's going to be buzzing.
Man.
Oh, my God.
And think about the Baron Davises of the world, like the Earl Watsons, the Kerry Champions, like the UCLA, young UCLA fans that have been trying to kind of will this team back into relevance. They finally did it.
We said going into this game, and we were talking about it last night, like this is a surprise, and that obviously Michigan has been a better team all season, and Michigan has looked pretty good in this NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
But it's not a surprise in the sense that UCLA has. I said it last night. You will not find a 1 versus 11 matchup where the individual talent is the gap in individual talent is this low to the point that like it might be even. And Juzang was obviously the best player on the floor tonight, and that's a rarity, obviously, in a 1 versus 11 matchup. But in that, now that you reverse engineer it, maybe it shouldn't have been that big of a surprise that they pull off this one. The run is definitely surprising.
Yes.
Obviously, and it was especially when you consider that Michigan State had them on the ropes.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I wanted to work back with you. I mean, the first 4 is Thursday, that first Thursday of the tournament. You and I are watching Michigan State. We talked about, Mike Buckland, our boss, texting you, Michigan State guy, saying, I think this one's over. But the real test of it all was they showed Hep Cronin in Hinkle.
Yeah.
Or in Mackey that night. They show him up there, and he's holding out hope for his son, Mick Cronin. You can see the love, you can see the passion, and they survive. And I looked at you and I said, it feels like a Santa Claus moment where we have a Mr. March. He puts the coat on. Now Mick Cronin is Mr. March. But even then, it seemed a little bit like a meme, a joke. Haha, we're laughing with each other. And again, UCLA has been able to muck and muck and muck, and they never yucked.
Dude, in all seriousness,
and tonight they bucked.
This
and
is
they finally got the win.
How UCLA is winning games is the Kimba formula.
Yeah,
it is. It's muck it up and give the
Mick
ball
Cronin
to
is the Kimba candidate, and Johnny Juzang is the actual Kimba candidate. Here we go. Look, there we go. Robbie Smith said it.
Robbie says it.
Juzang, Kimba candidate.
That is. It's not even just because Juzang's the best player on the team that's hot. It's like that's literally how UConn won their national titles. It's like play awesome defense, muck it up, and then give the ball to Kimba, give the ball to Shabazz. Johnny Juzang is Kimba,
and Tiger Campbell is Shabazz.
Done.
Done. We figured it out. Who would have thought? Man, look at Hep Cronin, by the way, getting the love. You can just see, I'm a sucker for the father-son, especially the coaching relationship, the Hurleys, and, the list goes on with so many. But Hep Cronin, man, look how happy this man is for his son. And he never thought his son would be the coach of UCLA. And to bring it, to get them to the Final Four, to bring them back to relevance, man. This is really something.
I'm just happy to see another Ohio guy move out to LA and find success.
You're right.
Yeah,
you're right. It's good to see.
It's going around, Tate.
Look at this. I mean, Mick Cronin smiling this much and having a good time.
Again,
we saw him at the Maui Invitational. He didn't even come to the luau, Titus. He did not come to the luau because he said it's not time for fun and games. And now they're in the Final Four.
And now it is time for fun.
Yes.
Dude, this is so cool. I love college basketball.
Yeah, what a ride. What a ride.
Oh, my God. What about Michigan? Michigan season, this was, I think Michigan, given that they lost Isaiah Livers, they overachieved, they didn't? I mean, like, it sucks to lose in the Elite Eight to an 11 seed.
Yeah,
I think once you get to that point, and also you lose by 2 like this, I don't think any Michigan fans like, yeah, I'm fine with this. I think they're upset. They should be upset. But big picture, hell of a season. I think even going into the tournament, we both had Florida State beating Michigan just because we thought missing livers would hurt. They came together. Johns was awesome for them. I think Michigan, hold your head up high. It was fine. They don't want to hear that right now. But,
I know. They don't want to hear that. But in general, Michigan, last year at the Battle for Atlantis, they kind of put the world on notice. Or Juwan Howard, in my opinion, put the basketball world on notice to say, you thought it was funny that I was coming here and I don't know college basketball. Well, guess what? I just beat the S out of North Carolina. You know what I mean? And I'm going to keep running through all these teams, and I'm going to make this happen.
And Gonzaga.
And in general, then we all were like, oh, Michigan. Okay. This year we go into the season. You see Michigan, you see the transfers, you see a Shawnee Brown, you see a Mike Smith. You say, oh, that's interesting, but I don't necessarily see it. They have overachieved the entire season, so much so that I wanted to push back and say they're not as good as I thought they were. Hunter Dickinson's not as good as I thought he would be, or whatever it may be. But regardless, they were able to punch back. I think they held it down for the Big Ten in general as far as conference pride in this tournament. They needed to make the Elite Eight at least, and they have the livers card. We're not even 100%, and we should have made the Final Four.
Right.
That's a lot of things.
I do feel like they overachieved this year because Michigan felt like all season. I don't say this as a slight. I mean this in a positive light. That it felt like on an individual level they had a bunch of B+ guys. Maybe Wagner, with his length and his defensive prowess, could give you some A-A's at times. That was like their talent. Even Dickinson, as great as he was, I mean, we saw tonight, like the guy he goes to his left hand. He's basically, if he doesn't establish post position, he's limited, and he's going to be a great player someday. He's just not there. Like he's
still a freshman.
Some of the stats he was putting up were just, he rolls to the basket, catches it, dunks on people, which is obviously great. But on an individual level, Michigan was a lot of B+ guys that they put together. They played well together, but they didn't really have playmakers. Like I think that's ultimately what doomed them tonight. Is they just they don't have guys that you can just throw the ball to. Like Eli Brooks, every so often, Shawnee Brown but not really. You know what I mean? Like they can consistently. I don't know. I don't know.
That is the kid
in that regard. I think in a big picture view, you're like you look at that roster and it's not a bad like they have players, but they didn't have like. Juwan Howard, what does this say? Juwan Howard was playing in the NBA just 8 years ago. He's the best young coach in the game. I mean, is he still your coach of the year?
Yeah, I think he is. Because I think at the end of the day, like I just laid out, Michigan overachieved for me. I think there were, you could argue, in my opinion, Illinois at the end of the year was the best team in the Big Ten. And in fact, I thought that they were so good, they were the best team to match up with Gonzaga. And I still don't, my opinion hasn't changed regardless of what Cameron Krutwig did in one game. I give him his kudos. It was great. But still, Illinois is the best team in the Big Ten. Regular season, Michigan, in my opinion, was the best team in the Big Ten. So, Juwan Howard earned my respect the way he was able to build that program in the quote-unquote best conference. So I'll give him the tip of the cap. But I still have a lot of questions, like especially in-game management. You and I watched the Turgeon game in the Big Ten tournament. I'm not saying anything other than if I am a Michigan fan, I'm just like, let's get better. Let's keep the train going. We're not set. We're not good. We're not content, and it'll be okay.
It's a small sample size. Like some things haven't worked out. Like the end of the Ohio State game where he just kind of didn't call timeout and let Mike Smith throw up some junk, and they lost. That was not a great look.
We still have beeline guys in the program, right? I mean, we still have to see, like Isaiah Livers is a beeline guy. So it's like I still want to see what Juwan's vision fully formed looks like. You know what I mean? So that's why I kind of reserve my judgment on him right now, because I still don't know exactly what the Juwan Howard full picture experience looks like. But so far, it's been great. I mean, how could you complain with this? He's been great so far.
Yeah, he didn't know Wagner had 4 fouls against Ohio State.
Yeah, that was bad.
I hated that play call at the end because it did look like that's what he told him to do. He told Mike Smith to pull up. And I love it in the sense of
if Campbell, if you got the look,
I love it in the sense of if Mike Smith makes that, it's stones on everyone involved, and it's like, look at the balls on Juwan Howard and Mike Smith that they would call. But
if he does hit that three, like the flip side of this is we're all like Juwan Howard is the ballsiest coach in America.
That's Dwayne Washington vibes, where it's like I never considered this not going in. It never crossed my mind that shot might not go in, and
now I sit here without going in confused.
How did that happen?
Wait, Oral Roberts won?
How did that happen? All right, so congratulations, UCLA. It is awesome. This is great. The Blue Bloods are dead. UCLA's back. I think UCLA is definitively a Blue Blood now.
Yeah.
Like they have been all along.
They never left. Yeah.
But you can't in a season where every Blue Blood sucked and UCLA makes the Final Four. Shut up.
Yeah,
Shut up.
Yeah.
They're in. It's done. The UCLA's back at the adult table. They're back at the Blue Blood table. It's done. So.
It does feel very Cal's guy, Calipari, to have a Johnny Juzang leave Kentucky, go to UCLA, then make the Final Four, because we should call it the Charles Matthews candidate, because he did this before.
Whoa, yeah.
Has Cal
tweeted about Johnny tonight?
I don't think so, but I'm sure he will,
guy.
because Charles Matthews, goes to Kentucky, cannot get on the floor, transfers to Michigan. They make the Final Four run in 2018. Cal was all about Charles Matthews, basically talking about how great of a kid he was, and tried to, as best he could, ride the Michigan Final Four run. I don't know if he's going to do that with Johnny Juzang. I think they left on good terms, so maybe he does. But that's a nice wrinkle as well in there.
I got buddies hitting me up saying I won a lot of money because they said they put UCLA going to the Final Four because of me, and I don't remember telling them to do that, but I don't know.
Look,
I'll take my W's where I can get them.
And this is the best part about memeing yourself to the top. When you have a Mick Cronin type situation, you say Mick Cronin national champion. I mean, I'm pretty sure our first podcast when we did our preseason Duffies, we joked about Mick Cronin winning the title because LA had won. LA had one NBA, one MLB.
That's
what.
It wasn't a joke.
It wasn't a joke.
It's never been a joke.
You're right.
What are you talking about?
Put it underneath. This is all serious.
Is it a joke to you?
Yes, it's funny to me. It's funny to me.
How?
It's funny to me. Did you not see the Mike Woodson news? It's very funny. Oh yeah, I like this, Kyle. We need a Pac-12 neon light. Yeah, there you go.
I agree.
Can you find that, Kyle?
Get Titus and Tate out of here. Get Ohio State and Carolina.
Could you
out
imagine
of here,
if it just said Pac-12 and people tuned in?
Speaking of the Pac-12, the Gonzaga Bulldogs earlier today steamrolled USC in a Pac-12 matchup, at least per our show. What are we looking at?
We're looking at the 11 seeds to make the Final Four. So we got Loyola Chicago in 2018. We got VCU in 2011 with Shaka Smart. We got George Mason with Jim Larinaga in 2006. And we we got the LSU Tigers from 1986.
No 11 seed has won when they got to the Final Four.
VCU made the title game. That was the only one.
No, they didn't.
Oh,
they lost to Butler.
That's right. They lost to Butler before. None of them made the title game.
Yeah, that's what it said.
It did at the bottom? Oh, okay. Sorry. I wasn't looking at the graphic anymore.
That's what it said right there.
Yeah, envision greatness, play of the day.
And I don't think UCLA is going to make the title game because Gonzaga is very, very, very good. Not just the best team in the country.
Maybe
the best
the
team
world.
in any country.
Yeah.
At any time.
Yeah.
Ever that we've ever seen at an amateur
We did have
level.
our Canadian correspondent reach out to us and say, are they better than Carleton? We'll never know. But I think we make that game happen eventually. If you're Gonzaga and you're going to be international, you got to play Ryerson and Carleton and all those teams up north.
Gonzaga is so good that when they're blowing teams out, I'm not bored by it, and that to me is the mark of an awesome. It's very rare that I will stay tuned in to a game that is a complete blowout, that is over, that there's no. There's no reason to watch it. That any other game, Gonzaga gets up 20 early, you're just like, all right, this one's over. I don't need to watch it.
You said what we were watching is UConn's women's basketball. It's at the end of the day, you're watching a clinic.
Yeah.
And Luis brought this up. They're carving them up like a turkey. You know what I mean? That's the term that everyone's using. Gonzaga's carving up teams like a turkey. They are putting on an offensive clinic, and they also. They pass up good shots, which if you're playing defense against a team that's passing up open good looks to get better open looks, I mean, that is the most frustrating thing in the world, especially if you're a team like USC, who's been beating the heck out of every team you've seen in this tournament, and now you're getting ran off the floor like you're a JV team. It's hard to deal with that.
It's staggering.
There's a mental shuffling and honestly, Mick Cronin is the type of guy who can muck it up against the Gonzaga team.
No, he cannot.
I think
Gonzaga,
he might.
Dude, you did this. Apologize to America right now that you told them you said USC was going to make this a good game. You said Evan Mobley was going to do something.
Evan Mobley did do something, and so did Isaiah Mobley. But what happened was Evan Mobley and Isaiah Mobley got confused as to who was supposed to do the most. And Isaiah Mobley's doing the most, and Evan's like, that's supposed to be me, dude. Like, this is supposed to be my time. But older brother, younger brother, controversy comes into play. I think that was the problem at the end of the day, not Gonzaga's defense at all.
It's not that Gonzaga
definitely was the brother. It was a sibling issue that they'll suit and they'll come back next year, right, and win this whole thing.
So you're
telling me that he's the #1 pick, so he's not coming back? Okay, there it is.
You're telling me that UCLA is
they're unmuckable.
They are.
This is what the
Gonzaga's
people are saying.
unmuckable.
Yeah, I mean, look, I want them to be mucked.
But if you didn't watch this earlier, if you're just joining us now, Tate, by the way, has become a Gonzaga. I don't want to say hater.
I'm not a hater.
You're very much flustered by Gonzaga. Drew Timme unlocked something in you tonight.
My entire life is Duke or Carolina, and Gonzaga is on the Duke side of shade. So like that's where they are. So like I see them, I put them in their box. I understand it. I know who they are. That guy right there should play for Duke. Drew Timme.
Yeah.
Like that is Christian Laettner.
Something like I've talked a lot about. I've been singing Gonzaga's praises all season, and they've been far and away the best team in the country from the jump to me. And I've sat down in this chair and I've looked you in the eye and I've talked I've said great thing. I've talked greatly. I've said very high praise for Gonzaga, Tate. And it's never really affected you. And tonight, I can sense something. I can sense that watching Drew Timme celebrate every basket.
Yeah, it's just
picking up dimes and mustaching it and flexing.
That's just not how I play basketball, and it's not how I respect people that play basketball. But I understand it. I mean, I get it. If you're beating somebody by 20 points, you have every right to stroke your mustache and flex and dab and whatever the kids do. All those things. But in general, I will say, if you're doing all that, you have to understand the implication there. Christian Laettner knew the implication. Bobby Hurley knew the implication. Cherokee Parks knew the implication. Lee Melchione knew the implication. J.J. Redick knew the implication. The implication will come. That's all I'm saying. So Gonzaga fans, I know you're having fun. You think America loves you. The implication will come. So those are my thoughts.
They've never won a national title. It's their second Final Four.
The implication will come.
I would hate them.
After
they're
the title.
so fun.
Yeah, they're 2 games away
this
from being
is great
hated.
for college basketball.
They're 2 games away.
You're already there.
I'm not. I'm just telling you I'm 2 games away.
I promise I don't hate them.
I don't hate them.
They are 2 games away. So the conversation, we were talking about this earlier, the conversation has now shifted away from, is Gonzaga good enough to, everyone knew they were good enough to win a title, but it was like, where does Gonzaga fit in the pecking order of this season of college basketball? Because Baylor's looked really good. Whoever's been the Big Ten flavor of the week has looked really good at times. And we're like, are we sure Gonzaga is better than these teams?
The Big Ten, they blinded me for quite some time.
Yeah.
And you get caught up in their little Big Ten regular season battle.
Alabama at a certain moment in time.
Even Oklahoma at one point
had
was
those
tier
4
1.
top 10 wins.
Yep.
So throughout the season, it feels like it's been a
Oklahoma, who they beat in the second round, by the way.
Smoked them.
Yeah.
It has been a pursuit for us to find a team that we can put on Gonzaga's level, and we've been just trying to figure out the pecking order. And
I think that's why I'm frustrated, because I keep trying to find a team to make them play. And they just are playing up here, and everyone's yelling at them. They can't hear them. It's just like a standard.
So we've been trying to do that all year. That has been the conversation around Gonzaga, is trying to find a challenger for them. And it feels like tonight, America is kind of realizing there is kind of none. There is
Baylor.
none.
Baylor is your last shot.
And so the conversation seems to be shifting towards, if they finish this off, where do they rank in the GOAT tier? And we got to say, there's 2 games to win. We've been here before. The 2 examples that stand out: 91 UNLV, 2015 Kentucky. Both got to this point in the tournament. Both were undefeated. Both looked like a wrecking ball that could not be stopped, which isn't exactly true, because 2015 Kentucky had a lot of scares throughout the way.
They did.
Almost lost at home to Ole Miss.
Yep.
Almost lost to Notre Dame in the Elite Eight. That was an Elite Eight game. Jeremy Grant had a shot, had a step back in the corner. That was online. He just shot it too hard.
When we talked about great Elite Eight games, I guess last night on our show, someone tweeted at me that game. I was like, you forgot about this.
Awesome game. So, but the bigger picture, we've seen undefeated teams get here that everyone said it's their title to lose. It's them versus the field, et cetera, et cetera. As a reminder, in 91, UNLV lost to Duke, who had 4 NBA players, who had Christian Laettner, who was National Player of the Year, who had Grant Hill, who would go on to be.
And they would go on to win the next year.
And they would win it the next
repeat,
year,
yes.
and they were great. Wisconsin had Frank Kaminsky, National Player of the Year, Sam Decker, NBA player. They had a whole team that went to the Final Four the year before. So I will grant people the parallels. I will say, yes, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's not crown Gonzaga yet. You still have to win these 2 games. But if you're going to draw the comparisons to those other 2 teams, Tate, you have to also highlight that the 2 teams that they lost to are much better than – Baylor's the one. Baylor's the only one. But they're much better than UCLA, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
And UCLA is good. UCLA is a good team. They have a lot of talent. UCLA is not anywhere close to as good as 1991 Duke or 2015 Wisconsin. And that's where we've arrived. So
not even close.
Yeah.
And I think if you're a Gonzaga fan or a Gonzaga player, or if you're Mark Few, you have to do the best that you can, because basketball is a mental game at a certain level. You have to do the best to temper the expectations. You have to do your best to, and obviously, I think that's why 2017 happened. I think 2017 happened for this moment in time, for this not to be the first Final Four that they go to. This is not the first time they've had this stage. Mark Few's been here. He's been to the title game. He's, been this close to winning a championship, as we've talked about in this program plenty of times. So they know the formula. They're not going to get ahead of themselves. And I think when they get crowned, it's going to be, I brought it back to Phil Mickelson winning his first Masters, his first major. It's going to feel like that. It's like it's long overdue.
Yeah.
Mark Few is a national championship level coach. He's a championship, this is a championship program, and they're finally going to get their due. So I do think that the gravity of history is going to take away from the fact that they already are due. You know what I mean? So that's my big Gonzaga takeaway. They're supposed to win now, in my opinion. Like, they are supposed to win. If they don't win, it is an absolute failure. I mean, I don't want to put that pressure on them, but like, that's the way that it's going to turn right now.
If they don't win, if they are much, 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 much better than Baylor. Yes. I want to say that. I want to go on record as saying that. That doesn't mean they're going to definitely beat Baylor if they meet. Baylor does everything Gonzaga does, except Gonzaga does it with pros, with guys that are going to be lottery picks.
It is when someone shows you the difference between like an A on a test or a B on a test, it's like Baylor's the B and Gonzaga's the A.
Yes.
And it's like there are a lot of good in here, but here's great and here's good.
Baylor is very, very good. Baylor is even great. Baylor deserves all the praise we're going to give them.
Yeah, we'll say they're A minus. We got an A plus and A minus.
This is the most anticipated title game since probably 05.
Yeah.
And like we've had this circle. They've been 1 and 2 the entire season. It's all come to this.
But I think that's the difference between this and 05. A lot of people, there was Carolina people like me that thought they were the best team all year. Illinois people, obviously, they were the #1 team all year. And there was like an argument.
This is not an
argument. That's
Baylor
the whole
fans
point.
know that Gonzaga's better. And if they play, like Gonzaga's going to be favored by a considerable amount, I think.
And if you're Baylor and you watch this game tonight, you have to, like, just human nature. Like, if you're Jared Butler and you're watching Gonzaga play, you look over at Davion Mitchell and you say, damn, dude. Like,
I don't know. Davion Mitchell seems like a guy that's like
we got arms crossed. Yeah, he's like, it's all good. He's like, I'll guard him.
I'll guard them all. I'll guard Timmy.
I'll guard 11. I'll guard Timmy.
I don't care. I ain't scared. I don't.
Yeah, the Bernie Mac. I ain't scared of
y'all. All right, so tomorrow morning, actually, you and I are jumping on a plane. We're going to Indianapolis.
Yeah.
We're going to the Final Four. We will be boots on the ground in Indy. I'm very excited for this. The last time I was there, though, Gonzaga and Baylor were supposed to play, and I was standing outside Bankers Life Fieldhouse, and I got the news that the game was off. So let's knock on wood. That doesn't happen this time.
I mean, think about how cool that is, though, that you were at Bankers Life. You were going to watch what could be, knock on wood, the national championship game. It doesn't happen because the basketball gods say, nah, we only need this one time.
I am glad it didn't happen.
Yeah,
I'm glad it didn't happen.
That's what I'm saying. It's good because
I know that's stupid. I know there are people that are like, yeah, but we could have had that game too and then still had the national champ. But that's not the anticipation would be gone.
Let's just say Gonzaga wins that game by 20. Let's say Gonzaga did what they did to USC. Then we're all sitting in the Final Four waiting for Gonzaga to do that again to Baylor. You know what I mean? And that's not a fun. That's not the situation. I like the idea of who knows.
Yeah, well, I like the idea of building the Goliath, that's Gonzaga, and then building the Challenger.
Yeah.
And if the Challenger takes on the Goliath in Act 2, then what's the point of watching the rest of the movie? Tate?
And look, if you're a Baylor fan, you're probably a Baptist, and you hear that David Goliath story, and you're happy to be David. You know what I mean? You're like, I know how this ends. I could do that. So I think it's good for all parties.
So we're going to the Final Four. What is your feeling? What are you excited to see? What are
Woodson recruiting in Indiana? No, I'm kidding. My first off, to go back to Indiana to be at a Final Four. We didn't know this was going to happen. Even a couple months ago, we were like, will there be fans in the stands? Will we have a game? So that's great. Being boots on the ground. We're not going to do any escalator videos. I will say that. We will not go by teams and say, congratulations, Jared Butler.
You'll not get a Jesus Walks video.
We will not get a Jesus Walks video because we let Rothstein do his own content. But when we're on the ground, we're going to go see, a couple staples in the, in Indiana, in the basketball state. We're going to go see the Hoosiers gym. We're going to roll around there. Louise, our producer, is coming with us, so that'll be fun. We have the 3x3U tournament, which is coming back. If you're watching, 3-on-3 3 basketball and you love it, this tournament is college basketball players doing that format. That's going to be fun. We'll be there for that. And then in general, the games, which I'm sure is what you're actually talking about, I want to see, one, if Baylor can make a statement against Houston, similar to what Villanova did to Oklahoma in 2016. Like, blow them out. Make a statement. Say, I know Gonzaga's over here doing that, but like we got our own noise over here, and we're making our own wave. And then on the flip side of that, Gonzaga keep course, hold course, and then we get the greatest game. And then we have Saturday night, Sunday. You and I are talking about it. We're talking matchups. We're fired up. We can't wait. And then we have this epic national championship game on Monday night. That's what I'm looking forward to.
I think the best case scenario in terms of storyline, anticipation, all that kind of stuff is Baylor just absolutely destroys Houston.
Yes.
And then Gonzaga struggles-ish to put away, like kind of what they did to BYU in the conference title game. Like
UCLA's up 8 at some point.
Yeah, UCLA's up 8.
Johnny Juzé's got 25 at the half.
It does get a little mucky. Gonzaga still wins by 11, but you're like, I don't know. I saw some weakness in there.
Yeah.
And then we talk ourselves into being an awesome game, and then who the hell knows what happens there? But it feels like it's Gonzaga's to lose. It feels like they're just a machine that, I mean, every game they play, they're gonna have at least 3 of the best players on 4. I mean, like it's I'm running out of ways to describe it. That's what I've kind of said all year too, is that the shame about Gonzaga is that they are so dominant and so good that you almost like can't even appreciate what it is that makes them good, because there's not one thing. It reminds me of I ran in some social circles with the dude that played for the Columbus Blue Jackets, and I got to talking to him one time before I knew anything about hockey. And I remember sitting him down, and it's hilarious in retrospect, but I remember like just trying to pick his brain, like, how does hockey work? And I remember asking him a question like point blank, like, what is it that like makes a good hockey player? And he looked at me like I had 3 heads, and he's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, you know, like at football, if you're big and strong, like those are good things. And like,
it's a good foundational piece.
Like, what is it about Gretzky that made him so much better? Was he just skilled? Was he? Was it the heart? Did he just want it more? Did he?
He said he didn't have the talent. He just had the passion.
So what was it about, like what is it about hockey players that makes a hockey, like you could watch 2 hockey players and he just looked at me like, dude, are you dumb? It's like everything. Like you have to have skill, you have to have speed, you have to. And I remember just feeling so stupid. And that's the analogy that comes to mind when I'm talking about Gonzaga, because you're like, if you ask me what is it that makes Gonzaga better, I'm like, literally everything, everything across the board. They are better defenders. They move the ball better. They run an NBA offense. They could shoot. They could score. All 5 guys that touch the floor could take you one-on-one. It's insane. And it's insane how much better they are than everybody else.
And it's so, like I was saying before, it's so annoying with Gonzaga too, because they do everything so sound and so textbook and so clinical that it's frustrating because they never slip up. I was talking to you when we were watching this game. They pump fake every single time they get the ball. They whether it be a fake pass
or bite on it.
That's what I'm saying. And you dribble, pass, shoot. These are the 3 things you do in a game. We all understand that. They do all of those, every single player on the floor at a high level, and they do it the right way, quote unquote. I mean, Larry Brown would say, play the right way. Like Drew Timmy's head is up when he's dribbling. You know what I mean? Like they do all these little things right, and that's why it works.
Zach points out Gonzaga UCLA is a rematch of the Adam Morrison crying game. How often is that clip going to be shown?
Wow, I didn't even think about that until right now. Good point, Zach.
I know. I didn't either. Poor Morrison.
I mean, we had him on the show.
Couldn't even get the ball in the last possession. Like, you know, like his teammates were choking away, and then everyone remembers him being the one crying. I would cry too. Like, what the hell?
Like, I mean, look, I almost cried watching Evan Mobley tonight, so I can only imagine what was going on here.
Does Houston have any chance against Baylor? Because I want to go on record. I don't think UCLA has much of a chance against Gonzaga. And it's nothing against UCLA. I think this is the accomplishment. You got to the Final Four. The Pavilion Club will be buzzing next year.
Yeah,
we build off of this. This is great. Congratulations, UCLA. You are the last Pac-12 team standing. This is officially a Pac-12 tournament, by the way.
Yes.
We said this last night. We need a Pac-12 team. Stamp it. This was the tournament that the Pac-12 dominated.
And it had to be UCLA, honestly. Like when you looked at Oregon State and USC, those matchups in general did not favor them. It seemed like a lot would have to go right for them to win. So UCLA had to do this, and they did it.
So before we get excited about Gonzaga Baylor, in your mind, do you think Houston has much of a shot against Baylor?
I think that Houston, look, when we get to the Final Four, it's coaches. I always look at the coaches. I think that there's a chance that Sampson could outcoach Scott Drew. And not to say that's not the old, I'm saying Scott Drew's not a good coach, but I'm saying Sampson is that good of a coach. So there's a little bit of that where I could see, and Houston has some assistants that lap over. I think one of the Houston assistants, his son is on the Baylor staff. I don't like stuff like that where it's like connective tissue. So look, familiar territory says that Houston to me has a better shot than if they were playing some other Texas team they're not familiar with, or not even a Texas team, some Duke or Carolina or whatever. I'd be like, yeah, Houston's getting blown out. But the familiarity at some level gives me a little bit of Houston hope. But at push come to shove, Baylor's going to win this game.
I think Baylor and Houston are similar teams, and Baylor's just better.
The better version.
It reminds me of like what I was thinking going into Gonzaga Creighton game, for example, when you were bringing up the point like Creighton could maybe run, like Creighton's got shooters, Creighton can score, and I was like, that's in my mind it was like Creighton just tries to do what Gonzaga does. Gonzaga just does it better, and that's what I feel like Baylor, big guard oriented, they play great defense, and then you like Quentin Grimes, and Quentin Grimes is Jared Butler, but then. Yeah, I trust Baylor's other guards more than I trust, Giroux's great defensively, but I don't know. So in my mind, like that, I see Houston as just like a slightly worse version of Baylor, and I see Baylor as a worse version of Gonzaga, and then I see UCLA as UCLA. As UConn.
It is funny. It's like Sasser matches up well with Teague, Butler to Grimes, Mitchell to Giroux. I mean, they have exactly the pieces that all set up. I mean, I think it'll be a fun game. I hope it'll be a good game. My best case scenario is that, just for basketball purposes, we at least have 2 competitive Final Four games that America's like, man, this is a lot of fun. I can't wait to see them on the other side. But if they have to be blowouts, let's make them extreme blowouts in favor of the 2 teams that we both know are the best teams, and let's see who the best team is on Monday.
After. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to get to Indy. I have no idea what the vibe is going to be like. I have no idea.
It is a weird time.
It's going to be a weird time. Downtown is going to be very strange.
What is the steakhouse? St. Elmo's that everyone?
St. Elmo. Yeah. That's the one restaurant that anybody knows in Indy.
Yeah, I know it. I know it too.
Harry and Izzy's is where the refs went, I think, though. That got busted.
Really?
Yeah. Harry and Izzy's is another. I don't know. Yeah, so I'm excited to go, man. It's going to be fun. Final Four is always awesome, obviously. So there it is. Any other thoughts? What else we got to talk about? Is there anything else?
I will say, when we're in Indy, for the people at home, if you're watching us live on the set and you're like, wait a second, you guys aren't going to be live on your set after the Final Four, after the National Championship game, we're going to be live from Indianapolis, probably in our hotel rooms. But regardless, we will be live. We'll talk exactly, like right after the game's in. We'll be popping right here on the YouTube channel. You can subscribe. You can watch us. We'll be on Twitter. Same thing for Monday night after the National Championship. And then you and I will just be around. We'll be tweeting. We'll be doing videos. We'll be Titus and Tate Instagram, Titus and Tate Twitter, Your Club Trillion. I'm Tate Frazier.
Dude. Man. Look at this man plugging over here.
I'm
my
fired
God.
up. I just can't wait to go to Indy.
Plugging like crazy. That was amazing.
Just get me in. Just plug me in, Coach. I'm ready to go.
I'm ready to get into that controlled environment.
Look, LMU basketball.
Shout out LMU.
Yes.
West Coast Conference.
You and I are like, we were trying our best to get pickup games at LMU. So like, if
we're making it happen,
please.
LMU, let's make it happen. Let's get some pickup run. Like
I'm tired of people calling me out of shape and overweight on the show. Like, let me play pickup at LMU. I'll be ready to go.
This is great for This is great for LMU, UCLA, and Gonzaga. Rising tide lifts all boats. Gonzaga's your conference team. UCLA's your city team in the Final Four.
Yes.
Let's lift those boats, baby.
Dude.
Let's get LMU basketball back.
Let's go, Lions.
Hear the roar. That's it. I don't have any other parting shots. Thanks for watching. I guess you plugged everything.
I mean, those are all the plugs. But we have a Final Four, Titus. That's the
we
real
have
plug.
A Final Four. I guess this is it. This is it. Put your stamp on it. Mickey Mouse tournament or not. Give us a 1 to 10 Mickey Mouse rating. I'll go first. I won't put the pressure on you.
Okay.
I think in the end, for all the muck we saw to get to these 4 teams, for all the Mickey Mouse garbage, Max Asmus beating Ohio State in round 1, not a fan of that. The Big Ten disaster, just it did feel very Mickey Mouse at times, and I think in the end, we got a good Final Four, and I think I gotta give it like a 6 out of 10 Mickey Mouse rating. Like I don't think it's that bad.
I don't think it's that bad, but I did just get this text, so I don't know. You tell me it's Mickey Duncan. I don't know.
I think in the end this tournament
the Blue Bloods say it's a Mickey Mouse tournament, but I think you're right. Probably 5, 6 out of 10.
I think in the end it's just going to be a big distraction for Gonzaga and Baylor to meet in Indianapolis like we thought they were going to in November.
The 2 best teams in the country.
That's really all this was. But my God, what a fun distraction it's been. And, hopefully Houston, UCLA, if you're watching this, use this as fuel. Put this in your pregame hype video and maybe go out and surprise the world. Go shock the world.
Close game. New Bloods barely win in a tight one, 42-41.
There you go. Go shock the world and disrupt the national championship that everyone thinks we're going to get. Thank you guys for watching. It's been so much fun being here on set in LA, doing this throughout the tournament. See you guys in Indy.